Hello, everyone. Welcome to our AI Masterclass. I'm Firuza. I'm lead CX consultant here at Vimo.
Hey guys, my name is PJ Otzi. I am co-founder of IMO and Service Chief Creative Officer.
We're both here to take you through this masterclass. We will be showing you a live demonstration of how AI has transformed the in-store experience for one of our customers, Elon. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question section, which you can find in the bottom right. We'll also be doing a Q&A at the end to cover any of your questions then. Please do also use the chat, which is also in the bottom right-hand corner if you want to discuss any of the content. And a reminder that after the masterclass, we're going to be sharing the recording and the slide deck and also any of the questions and answers in written format. Great.
Right.
So let's, what we're going to be covering today exactly. So we're going to tell you exactly why this kind of AI tool is really important now and what we're hearing in the industry and why now is the best time to start with something like this. This also isn't my work, so I'm going to be a guide to take you through the various domains that this Elon AI tool that Vimo has produced provides value. And PJ is going to be providing the examples and the demonstration of the tool in action. Do keep an eye out for the polls. We want your input throughout, and we'll finish with the Q&A. But first, why us? PJ, tell them who we are.
Yes. Quick, brief, short intro about us, Vimo. So we think ourselves as a digital experience partner. Everything we do centers around experience. So this is our core focus experience. And around this, we built four areas of expertise. We've got digital commerce, content management, data management, and insights and activation. And we think that all of these four are crucial to master to be able to deliver amazing customer experiences. So our support offering centers around all of this. We can help with consulting, with experience design and solution development, data and AI, CRM and support, and experience optimization. So we can really help you from all the very beginning to take a project from a concept to strategy to design, all the way through implementation, optimization, and continuous improvement. So we work with partners that we think are best in class, from platforms like Shopify and Adobe on the commerce side to Contentful and others on the content side. And I'm sure you recognize a few of them here. We've been around for 17 years now. We are present in a number of regions and countries, from North America to Europe to Middle East and Africa. And we think that global presence means that we can combine international experience with local market understanding. We have been a little bit all over the place over these years. This is a selection of companies and industries where we are most active. We're in sports and outdoors, beauty and fashion, home and yourself, food and drinks, so forth and so on. There's one logo in here in the left center, Elon, that we're going to take a closer look at right now. So Elon is a company. It's not the guy, not in this case at least. It is the leading Nordic home electronics and appliances retailer. They've got over 800 stores in the region. Over 400 of them are in Sweden, and we're going to look at Sweden specifically today. They've been a Vimo client since 2020. They're on Adobe Commerce, among other things. And what they do, they obviously compete with Amazon and the other big box giants. And they do that by focusing on physical presence and local and human touch, because Elon really believes in brick and mortar. Many of these stores are small neighborhood stores with very different profile and inventory depending on where they are in the country. Up north right now, not yet maybe, but soon they'll be selling snowblowers, whereas in the south of Sweden, pool equipment is what will still be on the shelves. This is also their challenge, to connect their local offline strength with a corresponding digital presence. Also, there's a new wave of customers coming in that have completely different expectations on digital and brick and mortar compared to maybe older generations. Elon has a brand promise, and they talk about välkommen hem in Swedish, welcome home. And what they mean with this is they focus a lot on human-friendly and homely store experiences. And we've been working with them over many years now, and we've been launching things regularly. And today we're going to show the latest thing we've been rolling out since this summer. And it is this guy, the in-store sales assistant. This is a tool for sales reps in the stores. It's based on the e-commerce website. So it's basically just an overlay on top of elon.se. It is meant to be used on portable devices, tablets, and phones. And in short, it gives AI powers to the sales rep in sales and support situations. For example, we see here on the left, it gives the sales rep a supercharged way of quickly narrowing down a category or a number of products for the user based on category, size of family, price range, brand preference, anything you can think of. Much as a normal scenario in a store, you want to look at a couple of dishwashers and you prefer a couple of specific brands. So this tool is, for example, giving you a list of recommended products based on what we just learned about you in the store. That's just one thing that we're doing with Elon and this tool, and we're going to take a look at a few other ones down the line today.
Yeah, precisely. We'll be looking into actual demos of the features themselves, so stay tuned. But why now? So we're seeing a big shift in terms of moving into offline experiences again, but a lot of expectations on what online experiences need to be. And this is really the best time to start introducing a tool like this as well. If we take the Gartner hype cycle, following a very intense period of hype with generative AI, we're now moving into this trough of disillusionment where we need to understand the shifts of the AI can start creating more practically. What are the actual implementations of it? What are the challenges that an organization might face with it, cost, governance, and being able to achieve a clear return on investment as well. So whenever we evaluate tools, we start to look at 4 different value areas, because it can't just be one area that AI is supporting or solving. It can't just work internally or just externally. That's a bit restrictive. We want to make sure that if we are introducing something like an AI solution, that it touches more domains for the organization. And this is making sure that it's delivering value as much as possible across different areas, but also really recognizing how to measure the success of that and the ROI. So we're going to dive first into the customer segment. And I wanted to take you through something that we as Vimo have been seeing a lot more with customers, not just in the retail space, but with our customers directly and our clients sort of telling us these sort of things. We're seeing this new intentional spender. So they're spending a much, much longer time, more deliberately engaging in their research cycles in order to find the right products for them. And they're using AI to support with that as well, to pinpoint the exact products with the exact dimensions and the things that meet their daily needs, because they don't want to be purchasing things over and over. They're looking to buy it for life. They're much more hyper aware of their financial security. They're interrogating any recommendations that are provided to them. But very interestingly as well, they're always on the browse. They are still always shopping. And this kind of I am shopping versus not shopping has dissolved, which means that we're seeing a lot of changes in what the buyer journey is looking like. So move to so the buyer journey is much slower. So again, this is industry level data that we're seeing, but also in our customer data as well, and what our clients are sort of telling us. A lot of time is being spent browsing, with a lot less time adding to cart and converting. So we're really seeing an increase in this product discovery and finding things that are right for them and researching more deeply, not just across one website, but 2 to 3 on average. And then the in-store purchase isn't the only time that they're going to purchase. They may go in store as part of this journey and then go back online and start browsing again, or look for further features, or find a discount or something like that that can help them feel more savvy with their purchases. So we need to address this because it's becoming a bigger threat for businesses. So people are coming into the store and they are much more educated. They've had a lot more research. They maybe know a lot more about the product than potentially the sales rep knows. So with the customer being the expert in this journey, what are you meant to be doing in store and as a sales rep to make customers feel like they're getting an expected experience and not a frustrated one? So PJ, we are going to do a quick poll. And the main thing is that we're seeing barriers to in-store conversions. And these are some areas that we've been noticing. And if there are any additional ones, please post them in the chat. It'd be really interesting to see. But why is a customer not converted in store? Is it because they didn't have enough product information? They needed to do some more research online. They needed to see whether it would fit in their space. Did they find that they wanted to find it cheaper, get a discount? Were the staff really unhelpful or maybe not present enough? What were the purchase options for them? Did they want to spend their rewards? Or do you just not know? Is it really difficult to track what that number one barrier is because it's really hard to gather any data on these touch points? We're definitely seeing that wanting to find it cheaper online is winning here. I think the fact of those coupon codes and, we've got finding it cheaper because there's so many places that a certain product is available online or some similar products as well. So PJ, why don't you take us through how Elon has begun to solve this?
Yeah, this is interesting. No helpful staff in store also.
Yeah.
So this is typically where we start as a kind of a framework to address the in-store brick and mortar, to identify the sticking points and the friction points and the areas of opportunity. This is how we think about the in-store user journey. There's basically 4 different phases or steps or touch points in a store. The first one we call greet and identify. A user that walks in, he or she definitely expects and wants to be welcomed and offered help. This is probably one of the main reasons why I will walk into a store. I've definitely done my research that we just talked about. Number 2 is explore and compare. I'm also in the store to look at products. So I expect full availability. I also expect all the specs to be there. But more importantly, I expect a good deal. Price matching and promo parity. If I see something online, maybe I've gotten a coupon code via my email, I expect that all of these are working in store as well. Number 3 is another reason why I would walk into a store, which is like I have a problem with the product. So ask and resolve is what we call this. It's about troubleshooting, deeper questions. My washing machine won't start. I have an error code, or I need a spare part for my coffee maker. These kind of questions is also a very common scenario for walk-ins into a store. And last one, of course, the purchase itself. Either I'm going to buy then and there or save for later. The customers expect all of these to be obviously seamless, right? So this is pretty much the map we had for Elon as well. They wanted to address areas across all of these touch points. And what we did, we flipped the script a little bit and turned it to what are the actual hard expectations? What are their asks or requirements from a customer? And this is what it could sound like. For the first phase, recognize me, make the experience relevant and personal to me, know what I'm interested in, know my profile, all of that. Number 2, explore and compare. Show me the products in real life. I'm not there to be directed to an online experience or Google. I'm there to touch products. For me, a store visit means that it's a tactile experience that I'm after. Yeah. Also, I'm there to talk to someone who give me personal, opinionated advice. I just don't want my normal recommenders that the web gives me. I'm in the store to actually get some opinions and thoughts. Number 4, expect to be helped or to get answer to whatever question I have, however deep it is and specialized it is about a specific product. Don't make me read the manual. Don't send me to the manufacturer website to try to help myself. I'm there to get help in the store. Lastly, of course, let me choose how to pay. Let me choose how to have an order shipped. And also, if I'm not gonna walk out of the store with the product in hand, help me remember and help me quickly get back and pick up where I left off when I'm at ease in my sofa and then want to click purchase this order online instead. Yeah. So I'm gonna jump to a few demos and a little bit of caveat. These are in fact live demos, and this is something that we've been rolling out in kind of test mode or beta mode since the spring. So it's still being rolled out. So we could expect a glitch or two, but that's the charm with live demos as well, I think. So the first thing we'll show here is that meet and greet or like recognize me. I'm walking into a store and I expect the store staff to know who I am and to know my Elon graph or footprint or order history, right? So I'm going to show you how that actually looks like when we have a walk-in. I'm going to switch to my other you. So I am looking at elon.se. So I'm going to switch between Swedish and English. This is a Swedish site, so I have to rely on the Chrome extension to switch to English. But I'm going to start with Swedish because the translate feature is somewhat glitchy. What we see here is a pink top bar, and this is something that only sales reps see because they have logged in. The rest of it is more or less the exact same site as anyone would see. So I have a start page. The wish list is empty. The cart is empty since I have nothing here. I'm not logged in.
Mm-hmm.
I have my start page with campaigns and promos. And a few of these are actually personalized. This one selected for me shows earbuds and TVs, right? Which is pretty generic. This is the default product recommender that we have. What the sales reps can do is they can ask me for my email. Just going to quickly log in here. And they obviously don't need my password. They just need to verify that this is me. And they just log in as me. So they're still with their pink top bar. But now there's a wish list with some speakers in it. There's a cart with a washing machine and a speaker. I have a club membership. I've got my personal offers here. Let me just go to that page. I have some special prices just for my loyalty program tier. So the staff will actually be able to experience the exact same kind of customer or account pages that I have.
Yeah.
But
And we're seeing this on a desktop laptop at the moment, but it works across devices, right, as well.
Tablet soon. I just wanted to show because I think it's reflected the best. You see that the recommended, like selected for me, has switched to a washing machine and JBL speakers, and this is and some I guess vacuums and whatnot. But this is an example of how the product recommendations are personalized based on what we know about you. And this is the staff who logged in as me. So they immediately see, and this will be reflected across the entire experience. Whenever there are personalized recommendations, I will see the same thing logged in my living room as the sales rep will see in the store. That was the first thing I wanted to just quickly share how that could look like.
Yeah. And then I guess the other critical thing that people were seeing is price comparisons. So I want to go and find it cheaper online. So I think that's hugely critical, right?
Yeah, this is so common. This is one of the major things. So we talked to Elon, like, what are the most common questions and challenges you have in the store when someone walks in? And this is the competition in this space, electronics and appliances, is it's pretty rough out there. And this is so common. I have this washing machine, but the main big box competitor, Elgiganten, the electronics giant in Sweden, they have this Miele washer for 4,000 Swedish off. It's 18,995, but it's 14,995. And I know Elon also has Miele, so what can we do? So this is just an example. I'll show you quickly how this would work. I'm going to switch back to my little demo thing here. Bear with me. Let's go to tablet mode. Okay, so how this works is quickly jump into a category just to give the AI a little bit of context of what we're actually looking at. So I'm in the washing machine areas here, and on the tab here, I have sorry, I don't have it. I'll just grab the URL. You have to believe me. I'm grabbing the URL from my other tab on this exact product, and I'm hitting the AI assistant. And I'm going to campaign comparison. I've increased the zoom here, so a few things are breaking here, but this is essentially giving me the opportunity to just paste the URL for the product that is on sale at Elgiganten, the main competitor here. And this is the AI now going and scraping the elgiganten.se site, figuring out and verifying, is this actually on sale? What is the exact price? First figuring out everything it can about that product, then going back to Elon and see, okay, what do we have here as an alternative, or do we have to price match in this case? I'm going to switch to English here just to show. So we see here the business comparison, the Miele blah 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 versus Elon's range of washing machines. So it says here the Miele at Elgiganten is 9 kilo capacity. It's 14,995, has steam care, quick power wash, so forth and so on. So it gives a couple of examples that Elon has here. So the Bosch is one of them. It's a little bit less, higher capacity, right? It has iDose, automatic dosing, iron assist, which are similar features. So it gives me talking points and kind of rationale to kind of combat the the campaign product at the competitor, right? So it gives me 4 alternatives here, and like, what are the biggest selling points for getting this, like the build quality, unique systems. What is the main thing that Elon has? This machine that Elon has is higher efficiency, higher energy efficiency, and a couple of other things, right?
Yeah.
Just one quick example of how this could work. Like, grab any product available online, give the URL to the sales rep, and the sales rep immediately can look at what Elon has in stock, on sale, or something to offer as a competitive recommendation. If not, we'll do price matching.
And really great for the customer to sort of feel that they are, being heard when they're saying, of course, I'm looking at something else. Of course, there's something maybe slightly better out there, but I'm here to compare. So help me compare. So really nice to be able to see that.
Yeah.
So we've seen, customer benefiting from this. They get a bit more confidence in the purchase, a much more personalized experience because they're known, and they get the fair deals. But how is this actually going to start helping sales as well? So the sales reps in store, we're seeing that they are spending a lot of time researching and finding out about products and getting into those product details. And we've got a stat for you if you move on to the next slide for me, which is only one of the things which can frustrate a customer when they come in store. So trying to find answers to customer questions. We've heard lots more than just this. So if you go to the next slide, we have the different sales realities that we're hearing, not just from our clients, but also in the industry as well, that is causing frustration to the in-store experience. So we've heard a few of these already from yourself, PJ, in terms of siloed commerce. So the issues with promos and coupons not working online versus in store, having, disconnected customer accounts. Why can't you remember what I've saved in my wish list? Why isn't that popping up? But then also inconsistent product recommendations. So why is the website showing a product, but the sales rep isn't telling me about that when I go in store? But the other things we're hearing a little bit more technical. So the system blocks. So they have to go to a machine and say, oh, come to my machine. I need to check the stock, or let me go in the back and see whether it's available. Or I don't know what colors it arrives in. Let me just check. There's a lot of manual search that sales reps still need to do because all of that information is sort of in the in-store systems and the company systems. And there's also too many purchase steps. So, they're at the product. They've decided that they want to buy the product, but they have to go to a till and they have to enter their email address. So again, that's sort of not remembering the customer and their preferences. But I think the biggest thing, and the reason why this is a sort of human conversation webinar, is that you get a lot of human inconsistencies. So are there too many product details, whether it's because you have too many products or too many SKUs that you need to remember, or whether those products have very nuanced details between them that you don't necessarily know how to sell one over the other, which means that you maybe default to selling just what sells. So if a customer comes in on a Tuesday, there's recommended one product. If they come in on a Thursday, it's a different one. And it leads to a lot of inconsistent selling techniques, especially if you're getting new people joining the workforce and you're trying to onboard them onto new products. They're trying to learn them and be trained on them. So these are 3 key areas, and there's potentially a lot more, but we're going to do a next poll just to understand for the people who are online, which of these 3 are your biggest challenges with your in-store sales? So is it those system blocks, those manual computers that have to, they're maybe too complex to be able to get through, the human inconsistencies, or maybe that siloed commerce? Let's have a look. As suspected, human inconsistencies very much winning, and possibly because of how we named this webinar, why a lot of you are here. But we do have, siloed commerce as well. So we've indicated a little bit on that, but, a lot more that a sales rep can do to better unify the experience that a customer is experiencing online and making that feel a little bit more seamless when they come in store. So PJ, why don't you take us through another demo for the sales rep?
Good one. Yeah, interesting. So yes, I'm gonna show another thing which was really important to Elon that tags into this siloed commerce and system blocks, but the whole human inconsistency part. One of the things that was really important to Elon, and we see this exact challenge in other engagements as well, is this sense of the online competing with the offline, and yeah, of course, the online version of the store exists, but there's nothing that the sales rep can actually do with it, and it's in fact pretty disconnected and oftentimes competing with the in-store sales, because if I send a customer to the website, that might be attributed to something completely different than myself, and certainly in the store that I'm in right now. So I'm going to show you what we did with Elon to kind of address this particular challenge, to try to make it more a tool for them. Let me just so I'm back in tablet mode here. So I'm going to just start by showing how the login scenario looks like, just to give a sense of how this actually works. Let's see, log in here. So the first thing I do, Elon is, a couple of hundred stores, and some of these stores are owned by or operated by the same company. There's a franchise model in there as well. And a lot of the time, a sales rep has a number of stores that they switch between. And this is one of the demo cases we have. This particular store is in, this particular user has access to 3 different stores. So I'm going to jump into Örebro here. So it immediately tells me that I'm in Örebro. I could switch this down the line. I could switch user. But one of the things that we do is we're trying to make this a local representation of the brick and mortar store that this tablet is actually being used in. So one of the things that we do is we work with lists. So I have a couple of lists here. This particular user has 4 lists: washers on display, favorite coffee makers, JBL speakers, and the October campaign. So this is a very popular feature, because this helps the sales rep actually create like quick lists or just shortcuts to, in this example, washing machines on display. I mean, Elon has a couple of hundred washing machines in stock that they can ship, but there's 7 or 8 that are in stock in the store, and it's always them that we're going to go and look at with the customer. So this is just one example of dealing with lists. This is incredibly important to make this, to build this bridge between online and offline for the store. So I could, from this list, I could put it into a customer's cart or wish list. I can make a quote. I can do a number of things, but also from the detail page of this particular product, I can see that it is actually in my list, washers on display, and I can quickly add it to, for example, October campaign, so forth and so on. So lists is a key feature. Very basic, but very important to bridge the gap between these 2 silos and make the tool actually work for the users, or the staff rather, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue with the where we kind of showed a glimpse of the find and compare thing in the beginning. As you might remember, we saw a scenario of the sales rep quickly trying to find or drill down to a number of products to recommend or compare, like a short list. First thing that happens is I go to a category like white goods or appliances. I go to appliances. I can select washing and drying. I can further drill down into washing machines. And as I go, the right-hand side, the corresponding products are bubbling up. So I don't even have to finish this wizard. I get the most relevant product that the AI has concluded per step.
Yeah.
But let's continue. Price range here and brand, very important, as I mentioned earlier. So just select a couple of brands here, from Bosch to Electrolux to LG and Samsung. And then I have a list of 3 products in this case. One is going to be the best match. This is according to everything we just did in this session. We looked at category, price range, brand, energy class, family size. There's a step for choosing housing situation. There's the difference if you live in a house or apartment, so forth and so on. So there's always going to be a best match. Then we also present a good option and a cheaper alternative. We try to do this because this is mimicking exactly the kind of conversations that we see in the store.
Yeah.
So this is pretty basic, but this is the first step, right?
Very straightforward, and probably possible to do with and without AI at the moment, right? With a few chatbot style moving through. So where's the AI?
Yeah, this can be pretty much hard coded, right?
Yeah.
The logic matter, but this is the kind of the secret sauce that we're injecting into this. These are actually extremely deliberate recommendations. What the AI is taking into account to recommend these exact products are not just what we just caught in session.
Yeah.
If you log in, we're going to look at your customer profile, your order history, your browsing history, your favorites, to better match what you already are looking at or already have purchased, right? If you're buying a dryer, it's good to match it with your washing machine, for example. So customer profile is the first thing. The other thing is return rates. We have hooked in return rate data onto this product recommender. So the AI is actually looking at which products are least likely to be returned when recommended product. Another really cool thing is Zendesk. We have fed this AI. We added to the training set support ticket data. There's a lot of support ticket in Zendesk. A lot of these have a product tied to them. So obviously, Elon wants to minimize the number of products generating support load. So this is another thing that weighs in. If a product is very likely to create a support ticket, we're going to recommend it less often.
Mm.
And the two ones at the bottom are also pretty important for the local store staff or sales rep. Local inventory. Obviously, Elon wants to sell what they have in the books, on the shelves, in the warehouse, at the local store first. So local inventory has a high weight in terms of what products are actually recommended. And lastly, what sales reps are most nervous about is campaign data and margins. There's no way a human can by heart know every campaign and every margin point and all of this. And obviously, Elon has campaigns every week. This is a fierce market. There's new campaigns weekly everywhere, and they're keeping track of each other, all the competitors. So it is extremely important to keep track of what you're supposed to sell. Some of these products are, traffic makers. They're supposed to drive footfall, but this is not really what you want to sell first. There are other products that have higher margin and so forth. And this is also affecting which products we are actually going to recommend. And this is extra important because this data, the purple boxes, is data that is proprietary to Elon. Only Elon knows about the customer graph that they have. Only they know about their return rates, their support tickets. Obviously, they know about their inventory and the margin. We're not showing this to the customer, but in the background, this is kind of weighing in on which products we're actually weighing down or ending up with when we come to the short list of dishwashers in this case.
Yeah. So we're going to do just a quick micro poll, and just conscious of time, we're going to have this running a little bit in the background, but please do answer. Be very interesting to see which pieces of data you think would be best to complement. But I think while we have that running in the background, PJ, let's look at the sort of exploring products, because I'm really interested in, one of the key things was knowledgeable sales reps, whether they have that knowledge. So how are we using this AI tool for things like training and onboarding?
Yeah. Let me show you that example. So I'm going to return to this detailed page on the tablet. We were looking at this particular dishwasher. So the AI it knows how the sales rep got here, whether we came from the product recommender or the search. If it's a direct search, maybe by SKU, then it's a higher likelihood that this is something that we need help with. Or if I come here from the category kind of wizard, it's a higher likelihood that we're in sales mode. So this is how it looks like. And if I start the AI assistant, it's going to default. Let me just switch to English here. It's going to default to what it thinks is most relevant right now. And right now it has deemed that we're in sales mode. So the assistant starts with sales highlights of this product. Talks to you about, Steam Care 700, often Steam programs, universal dose, SensiCare Plus, and adaptive time programming or whatever it says here. So the first thing it does, it gives a sales highlight, and then a couple of talking points or things to consider for this specific product. Like, why should the customer choose Steam Care? Or what is universal dose? How does it help me in everyday life? And the trick here is this is not really cues that are supposed to be used like live, because it gets a bit weird. Totally can, but this is also used for training. Incredibly important to, incredibly useful for someone new to the category. Maybe I'm a new sales rep at Elon. I know everything about coffee makers and vacuum cleaners, or air conditioning systems, but nothing about washing and drying. So this is something that is used by the sales rep to actually read up and learn. Like, what should I think? What if I have universal dose? Can I still use liquid detergent? Yes, you can. And what are the feature highlights for this specific? What is Steam Care? What is SensiCare Plus? SensiCare Plus, let me switch to English here quickly. SensiCare Plus measures the amount of laundry directly in the drum, so forth and so on. So these are all this is a kind of a training academy for washing machines as well. So you could do this from a product page. It gives you exactly the talking points for this product. If you launch it from a category, it gives you broader things and can compare brands and features without having this specific product context.
Right.
So it's just a quick glimpse of how the AI works in kind of sales mode.
Yeah, and there's also troubleshooting, right? So you mentioned about people coming in store saying, "I don't know how my, where's the filter? Where can I buy it from? Can I buy that from you?" Those sort of things. So
Exactly, yeah. So I'm gonna stay here just to switch to. I'm gonna manually switch to support mode here. So the two other tabs are support oriented tabs. So this is also taking into account everything that we've seen from Zendesk for this particular product. If there's a very common question about, cleaning the drain filter, for example, these are pretty obvious questions, but this is the idea that the AI is actually using the support system data to trim the experience here and to prompt the right more popular questions than I guess right questions. But this is an example. What it does really well is finding the user manual. So this is the link to the exact user manual. I'm not going to click it, but you just have to trust me. This is one of the hardest things to do when you Google, like I have an error code, and then you throw away the paper manual and you go online and there's 50 different languages and then a ton of different models for seemingly one machine. The user manual is one of the things this is probably the most popular feature.
Yeah.
The other thing is the common questions like, it doesn't start. What do I do then? So these are prompt, and obviously, check the power, but hold the on-off button for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Or factory reset. How can I do that?
Mm.
And this is an Electrolux, and it has a factory reset trick. Hold the stains and nectarines simultaneously for 5 seconds. That's the factory reset. This is stuff that is really hard to find for yourself. And then sales rep who's seen this 3 times will learn that all Electrolux washers and dryers have this factory reset with a double button hold for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So this is another cool feature. You can also, the last thing here, I'll just do it in Swedish, I think.
Quick chat.
I have error code E20. So the AI now has trained on every single PDF and support documentation about this particular product. And this is an Electrolux, so they should have these kind of error codes. And this is live, so bear with us.
You must know all of the error codes off by heart, or you've been fully trained on every product at this point.
Okay, E20 on the Elox XLN F74 means that the machine cannot drain properly. Common use cases are so forth and so on. So you can chat to this as well. And it takes voice as well. So if the support tab doesn't give you an immediately answer, or these prompts are not, accurate enough, you can just start talking and the AI assistant will know everything that it has trained on, right? So really useful for a support case.
Yeah. I want to, because we're getting very close to time, take us through a few more elements. So we've seen a lot about customer, and we've seen now a lot about sales, who are now aligned, knowledgeable, and supported. But beyond just better experiences, which naturally lead to better conversions, higher loyalty, coming back because you're the most helpful in-store experience they've had. What else is the tool doing for the business? How is it going beyond that?
So one of the key things is, we touched this already, sales rep attribution. It is extremely important that everything that I sell as a sales rep is, reflecting on my performance in store. And this is another thing that is really, really working well in this case. So everything that happens, as long as I'm logged in my store as my user, every customer lookup and login, every quote, every in-store order, and every online order and every quote I create. Quote twice here, but that's the idea. Everything is tracked per user, and this gives a whole nother level of using the iPad or the digital version of Elon in the store. The screenshot here, you can see that there's a customer that has logged in. I could switch customer. I could make sure this customer is a member of the Elon Club, which is the loyalty program. I can verify that I'm indeed the test user. This is my store before I do anything. So sales rep attribution is key here, and it works really, really well.
Yeah.
Another thing, this is how the quote version, so quote feature looks like. So if I'm logged in as a sales rep, it's a different checkout. I see offer or quote tab on the last payment step. So I could put in the name, or if I'm logged in, it's going to auto-populate. But I could send this quote as a link to text message or email. I can even print it here. But this is a quote that is actually stored in the system and it's tracked towards this particular sales rep.
Right.
Extremely useful. And this is kind of an aha moment for the customer, because it's not that common, not at least in the Nordics, that you can walk away with a text message in your pocket that has the exact products and the discount or whatever shipping options that were tied to that quote. Really cool feature.
Yeah, and continuing the journey, right? So even if they
Exactly.
leave the store without a purchase, they can continue. If they just need to go back and check whether their dryer will move over an extra inch, they will be able to complete that purchase without having to go back in the store to get that quote again and speak to someone else. And, that quote is tied to them, to their account. They can either go back in store to do it, or they can continue offline to finalize that, really reducing drop-offs, right?
Yep. Very cool. And lastly, the kind of unified checkout. I can choose if I want to pay with someone like Klarna, buy now, pay later, or Swish in Sweden, or I can even take the order on the tablet here online and choose to pay in store, and the order is funneled to the POS, and I can actually tap my card or pay with cash or any payment method that the till will take, and the order will still be attributed, or I'll take I'll take the order online and it will be attributed to the store. Obviously, I could walk out with the product, or I can have it shipped to home.
Yeah.
So another really cool feature, and this is also something that connects the channels.
Yeah,
Get rid of, I guess,
really unified. Remembering even your home address just because you're logged into your account doing it. Don't have to type it in again.
yeah.
So Elon, what have they benefited from?
Well, so we can't really share any numbers, any hard numbers, but this is a positive program which we launched in May, I think. We were rolling it out continuously into more and more stores. We're talking to customers, and this is obviously, I mean, we're getting higher service scores. A lot of the customers have this aha, so you can actually see my favorites. That's super useful. So this connection between online and offline is very important for the customers. And this whole like, oh, I have a voucher on my email, or I got this code on my abandoned cart message, or whatever it was, you can actually use it in the store. This is another big win for customers.
And I think, the reason why we can't share numbers is because Elon has specifically asked us. It's not that we haven't got those hard numbers. It is more that we're seeing that there has been an increase in improvement so far. And I think while it's still in pilot, we're seeing things like the business metrics. They're going to take a little while to sort of show exactly how this is going to help, because they're discovering all the different ways that they can optimize, right? Which kind of takes us to our fourth domain, which is, I guess, the AI future and where this starts going, right? So we've seen how this is benefiting the business today, but yeah, what about tomorrow? What about when AI starts changing? Like, we need to make sure that we're building tools that will keep up with how AI is moving. And I think unlike software systems, where if you're an early adopter, it puts you at a bit of a disadvantage, we're seeing that those who are implementing AI early and at least understanding how it works within their business are better prepared to evolve with it tomorrow, because AI is able to shift and move so quickly compared to other systems that have been put in place. So we're going to do another quick poll, the last one of our session. And how ready do you believe you are for something like an in-store AI tool like this? We kind of want to see where everyone is with this. And if you want to share in the chat whether you think your current AI initiatives cross more than one area. So is it just for sales? Is it just for customers? Is it for customers and sales? Does it benefit the business? Does it give you data? Be really interesting to sort of understand where everyone's at the moment. But I think it's actually really super important. Let's see where people are. Ready but no plan. Interesting. That's where we are at the moment. But nobody already piloting. Yeah. So I think probably something that everyone is really wondering is, what did Elon have to get started? Like, how much of a barrier was this to actually integrate into the business?
Yeah, I think this is interesting. I think one of our key points here today is that the perception is often that this is a very, very high threshold to climb, a very, very high barrier to entry here. But this is a picture that shows what Elon had to start with. And it's pretty simple. They had a web shop, Adobe Commerce, Most of us have it. They have a PIM, not necessarily needed, but they had it. They have a CRM system that manages the email marketing, the market automation, the loyalty program, and personalization with Viado. Obviously, they have an ERP and order management system. They have a POS. They have a support ticket system, and most importantly, I think they had a huge repository of PDFs in SharePoint
Mm.
where they hold internal sales training. So they do a lot of training and weekly updates to the sales staff. These are always ending up as a PDF in a repository, and nobody ever looks at them again. Uh, all the campaigns, promotion briefs, all the product manuals and sales sheets. There's a lot of information in SharePoint that Elon has that are the sales reps are supposed to use, but they just don't. It's
Mm.
hard to find. Search is a mess, and we all know PDFs are. There's pros and cons. We love them and we hate them, right? But this is the checklist what we sent to the AI platform and had it train on. So it consumed the entire web shop. It consumed the product data that had in PIM. It looked at the personal the customer data in Viado. It looks at order management and returns. It looked at the POS for all the in-store tickets. It looked at the Zendesk data, the ones that had a SKU connected to them, and it just ate through the whole
Yep.
PDF library that we sent to it. So uh, it's really nothing that they had to do. The main thing here is that we just have to make these accessible. I think
Mm.
that's the other point. This is a checklist. I'm guessing most of you have at least a web shop, and there's got to be an ERP and order management system in the background somewhere, um, and a collection of PDFs. You don't need more than this. And if you have 3 or 4 checkboxes in a list like this, it's good enough to start. And I think that's the other beauty, that you don't need to have your data in perfect shape.
Yeah.
These AI platforms are just made to eat and train whatever it can get its hands on.
Yeah. And there's a starting point if you don't have all of this in place, or if you're currently shifting around. But the idea is that this can be fully unstructured, right? It doesn't need to be polished and perfect. Oh, we're in the middle of moving it from one place to the other. The AI will just seek it and eat it and do things clever with it.
Yeah.
But what is Elon thinking about doing in the future? So obviously we've been in beta, and we're moving forwards. What's next?
Oh, there's so much here. So first is what we're just polishing the thing now, what we have here, the feature set that is available. But
Mm.
after that, there's a lot more we could do. Deeper ecosystem integration. We could look deeper into browsing history. We could look at abandoned cart email behavior, if the user is opening emails or reacting to them in a certain way. We also have all this data that we alluded to. We now have in-store visit data. We know
Mm.
how many times a given visitor is visiting a given store, at least if they log in or let the sales rep log them in, so forth. So there's a lot of in-store data that we suddenly have that is a crucial data point that we're going to work with.
Mm.
Um, but the other big question is like, why should this be a secret feature? Why should this be found? Why should this be sales rep only? So we're also looking at obviously to enable this AI assistant for consumers. Right now, there's a generic chatbot that we're trying, but it's disconnected from everything else. It doesn't have all the training data that our tool has. So that's an obvious next step, like make this feature customer facing. And also the most apparent point, I think, is that the tablet interface is pretty embarrassing at times. It's not ideal to stand there and scroll and tap away on a screen where you're talking to a customer. It's great for training. It's
Mm.
perfect for that. But in the moment, in an in-store visit, it gets pretty wonky. So we're obviously looking at new interfaces like voice, earpieces, glasses.
Yeah.
That's another thing we want to explore, because it just becomes weird sometimes. But it's regardless, the concept is there. We want to supercharge the sales rep. We want to strengthen or empower the human experience of visiting a store.
Mm.
Even if it gets to something like this, maybe we just walk into an Elon store to share a cup of coffee, and I have my consumer bot, and the sales has his or her sales bot, and let the bot do the
Yeah.
do the
My
work.
AI will speak to your AI.
Exactly, but the content is there. Elon is they're doubling down on stores. They're covering the entire Nordic region,
Mm.
and it works really well for them. It's a much stronger. It works because the big box competitors are in the big cities. They don't have the local footprint, and I guess humans want to talk to humans.
Yeah, that's the reason why they would come in store, right? Not just to see the product, but maybe to ask some questions. So that covers all of our domains and shows how Elon's AI tool has delivered across multiple domains of an organization, not just one. We're going to look in the question section now, see what people have asked. We have a question for how does Elon deal with different recommendations per session because of varying stock support tickets and returns?
Yeah, I think this is actually one of the things that the tool does better than a normal human, to keep track of these things, because the inventory is going to vary. The promos are going to start and stop, and it's very hard for a human to keep track of this.
Mm,
So the recommendations are actually instant. It's everything is happening live, and we're taking into account if come in tomorrow with a different set of favorites or a different cart in your on your online uh, on Elon.se, the recommendations are going to change. And if something is out of stock, or if something's suddenly is flagged as a low margin product or a negative margin product, the system is going to know that immediately. So yes, the recommendations are going to change, but that's also the whole point. It's
mm,
if it didn't change, we would suddenly be selling negative margin traffic makers and
yeah.
recommend products that or just generate a return or end up with a very unsatisfied customer.
Yeah, it's very much about balance, like blending what the customer needs with what the uh, store knows needs to be sold,
Oh,
and making sure that we're not selling anything that is likely going to be returned. Exactly.
oh.
There's a question here on data integration, and I think we talked a lot about maybe the proprietary sources from Elon as well, where we had to bring all of those proprietary sources together. Was there anything that was maybe tough or challenging, something that was maybe unexpected about being able to access all of those pieces of data and those sources?
I think maybe the where we had to dig a little bit deeper were the store sales data and the return data, because these are this kind of data is often buried a little bit deeper in the order management and ERP type systems,
Mm,
and they're not a lot of these are more or less archaic, at least the older ones. So they're not built to serve data via an API, or they're not very export friendly. So I think the older systems, the more legacy type systems, were the ones where we had to dig in a little bit deeper, or the data that we get is not very useful. You could have an export of all the ticket. The POS could give a export file of every single ticket it has generated, but
mm,
there's going to be pretty unstructured text in there with date and VAT numbers and everything that has to be on a physical or paper ticket. I think that was one of the point where we had to kind of filter out a lot of just noise, and
mm,
it's really hard to verify what impact that actually has on the recommendations at this point.
mm.
But the newer systems, I mean, the PIM and ecom and the CRM systems, those are built almost in a headless manner, where everything you could just, you don't have to surface the data via an interface. You could just uh, talk machine with it and get the answers.
Nice. That's where we're at with the questions. So I think, how, as a sort of takeaway for everyone, how can they get started? What do they need?
Yeah, I think we mentioned this already.
Mm,
You don't need a perfect data structure situation. You can just send stuff to the AI. And Elon in this case used OpenAI
mm,
as the primary engine here. But that's the beauty of these systems. You can pretty much throw anything at them, and they'll just eat it and think about it and clean it up internally, if you will.
yeah.
I think that's one thing. The other thing is that we learned with Elon, and we've done it. This is not the only experience, AI experience in a sales or in-store context we've done, but it's really beautiful to add this as a layer on top of your existing tech stack, like we did
Mhm,
here. The sales reps are using the exact same Elon.se experience as everybody else. They just have this staff mode that gives them a little bit of superpowers, and just look at what you have in your support system. What kind of data can you get from there? What kind of data can you get from the PIM or the POS? So I think that's the key thing. Just build on top of what you already have and make it lightweight.
mm,
And especially here, you can start small. There's no, yeah, you could think of it as a big threshold, but just focus on a single use case, or a few categories at first. Maybe only look at your support data to look at the troubleshooting use case, for example, or start with a given store to just limit the amount of data and try to narrow down the scenarios that you want to leverage with AI.
Yeah. And I think considering that this is going to sort of support on what you already know, so you already know where your challenges are that AI could maybe help. You've sort of maybe looked at all of these demos and thought, yeah, that would make things much faster for us, or that would really help with onboarding and training, which takes a lot of time out. We want to make that faster. We want people to get our sales strategies quicker. Understanding where you also want to go. So if you imagine that in 6 months' time or a year's time that every store has this tool available to them, what makes Elon's experience different from its competitors' experience of it? You know, what is the added value that you can now add now that you have an AI tool in place that will help you? Is it that you want a live configurator to be able to really leverage that AR in-home sort of experience and what that looks like? And have you got things which are already planning that feel a little bit closer now that you've got that AI in place? But it is very much about, you know, this is setting a new baseline on how to meet customer expectations. But there's going to be a lot of things in the future as well that this needs to jump into. We have one more question in the chat. What AI tool to start with? So you did mention OpenAI. I think I would probably recommend this tool to start with. But I guess, is there anything deeper on that as a question?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to what problem we're trying to solve or what we're trying to achieve. I think that's the first question. Like for Elon, it was like, how can we connect offline and online? How can we make sure to make the bulletproof product recommendation? Was one of the things. Like, how can we make sure that a sales rep is never recommending a negative margin or out of stock product or something that will just generate an unhappy customer? How can we supercharge the error code resolution? So we had a couple of really hands-on or practical or real use cases that we started with, and from there we said, okay, where can we find the data for this? Oh, we have it in the support system. Oh, we have it in the PIM, or it's actually available online. We could just scrape the website, and from there, I think that's the right way to start, and that will then help you boil down to what tool is best suited for that particular scenario.
Yeah.
Wide answer, but I think that's there's no golden bullet for in terms of tools. I think you have to start with this the thing you're trying to achieve first.
Yeah.
Data
And
you
I
can
think
actually use.
understanding the value that it's meant to deliver across those 4 quadrants that we sort of shared as well, just making sure that it's not only solving one problem, but it has the capability of giving you at least data or information on the rest of those areas as well.
Yeah, I think just one more point to that is I think that your own data is key here, because the likes of ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini, they're going to keep eating everything that's publicly available, and there's no way we can keep up with what they're doing in terms of knowing everything about a product. So I think that's key to look really hard what you have that is not available for these AI behemoths to consume and train their own generic bots or AI tools on. I think that's extremely important to take a look at. What do I have that's proprietary that I want to leverage?
Yeah.
I think that was one of the key things we realized quickly, because there's no point in trying to compete with the generic AI LLM app.
Yeah.
Because there's no way we can keep up.
I suppose the last thing to say is that, you know, we are able to offer a deep dive session with our technical experts. If anyone is thinking, this is really great, I'm in marketing, I need IT to have a look at this, see whether it's possible with our existing tech stack, identify the quick wins. So where would you want to start with this? And building a roadmap as well. So we've already built the roadmap for Elon before we even launched the pilot. And now we're thinking about how that roadmap is continuously evolving as well. So really sort of understanding what not just today problems that this AI tool could solve, but what those future problems are as well. So please do get in touch if you would like a little bit more of a one-to-one session for that, or want to put us in touch with anyone. But otherwise, I think that's the end of our masterclass. I hope you really enjoyed seeing an actual tangible demo. We didn't see a lot of error messages or issues coming up. So, it was quite good for a live demo, I thought. So well done. But yeah, thank you very much for joining. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.